Hello everyone, this is Helios Raven. I tell you how you do it, even if you don't care. And today we're going to continue on in our in-depth look at the forces of Tau and Battlefleet Gothic with the models you've all been waiting for, the Forge World models. The Forge World models are probably the most popular of all the vessels in the Tau Force, mostly because a lot of people feel they look more Tau-ish than the ones that were given to us by Specialist Games. And when Forge World created these were called the Cora or the Core-or-Vash models, or the Core-Vash models, whereas then they distinctively called the ones in Battlefleet Gothic the Corvatra vessels. And unfortunately, for a while, the rules for this were available off the Forge World website, and then after they remodeled, they took them down. So they're really hard to find. I got them from Phil. Big shout out to him for having the rules on them. And so let's take a look at them. Our first look is going to be at the escorts. The escorts that they got were the Warden Carrier Escort. The Warden is an escort with 1 hit point, speed 20 centimeters, turns 90 degrees, 1 shield, armor 5, turrets 1. It's armed with a POW ion cannon, range 30 centimeters with firepower 1, firing arc front, left, right, and a POW railgun battery, range 30 centimeters, firepower 2, firing arc front. This particular escort can only be used if a ship with gravity hooks fitted to carry the Wardens is in the fleet. So it's a neat little vessel, but you're kind of limited to how many you can have of it in the army, sort of just like the Orcas. Then there was the Castellian class escort. This is a bigger version of the Warden Carrier escort. It had the same stats, with the exception that it has 2 turrets instead of 1, and its armaments was a POW gravity launcher, firepower 2, firing arc front, and a POW railgun battery, firepower 3, firing arc front, left, right. It was a pretty nice escort. It's your standard Tau escort with a heavy ordnance payload and a pretty decent railgun battery system. So there's no real difference there. The real only major difference is you can have as many of these as you want in your force. You're not limited to vessels, how many number of vessels you have in the fleet. And payload-wide, it was actually pretty decent. Comparatively to some of the other escorts that we have, this is probably a nice choice for any vessel you'd want to take in terms of escorts. In terms of cruisers, what we got was the Emissary class cruiser. The Emissary was a cruiser with 4 hit points, speed 20 centimeters, turns 45 degrees, 1 shield, armor 5, turrets 2, and it was fitted with a POW deflector field, which means it has an armor 6 when attacked by the front, as long as it doesn't suffer a POW critical hit on the critical hit table. It's armed with POW gravity launchers with a firepower 3, firing arc front, a POW railgun battery, range 45 centimeters, firepower 4, firing arc front, port railgun battery, range 30 centimeters, firepower 2, firing arc front and left, and a starboard railgun battery, range 30 centimeters, firepower 2, firing arc front to right. And a port and starboard launch bay with barracudas only, 1 squadron each. All in all, the Emissary I don't think is the best cruiser in the fleet list. Mostly, I feel it's very underpowered. Yes, it does have some pretty awesome railguns and such in it, but once we look at the other cruiser we got, you'll see why I kind of preferred that one over this one. The next one that they had was the Protector class warship. The Protector class warship is a beefed up is a heavy class cruiser. Its hit points is 6, speed 20, turns 45 degrees, 2 shields, armor 5, and 3 turrets. So it's a little bit more protected against ordnance weapons. It's also been fitted with a POW deflector to raise its front armor to 6 as long as it doesn't suffer the POW critical hit damage. It's armed with dorsal gravity launcher with firepower 6, firing arc front, POW railgun battery, range 45 centimeters, firepower 2, firing arc front, a port railgun battery, range 45 centimeters, firepower 2, firing arc front and left, and a starboard railgun battery, 45 centimeters, firepower 2, front and right, firing arc. POW ion cannons, range 45 centimeters, firepower 2, front, and dorsal launch bays with Barracudas and Mantas, 2 squadrons. Which I think between the two, this one has a bit better payload in it. It's got a little bit more powerful torpedo servo, and it's got a little bit more variety. It's got some lances, it's got weapon batteries, and it can use either bombers or fighters. And just all in all, I think you're getting a little bit more variety with this cruiser than with the Emissary, which is why I kind of prefer this one over the other. And the next vessel was their battleship. The battleship is the Custodian Carrier. The Custodian Carrier is how you get wardens into your fleet. It has 10 hit points, speed 20, so it's the fastest battleship that the Tau have. Turns 45 degrees, 2 shields, armor 5, turrets 5, and it's also fitted with the POW deflector shield, which is also really good, making the ship very tough to kill, unlike the other battleship. It's armed with a gravity launcher on the POW, which is strength 4, firing arc front, port railgun batteries, range 45 centimeters, firepower 4, front to left firing arc, starboard railgun batteries, range 45 centimeters, firepower 4, front to right firing arc, a port ion cannon, range 30 centimeters, firepower 1, front or left arc, starboard ion cannons, range 30 centimeters, firepower 1, front or right firing arc, and a port and starboard launch bays with Barracudas or Mantas with 4 squadrons each, and grav hooks able to hold up 3 wardens. So with each battleship you get 3 wardens. All in all, this is a really nice battleship. I kind of like it over the other Tau battleship because it's a little bit more of what a battleship should be. A very vastly armed vessel with a lot of firepower and fairly decent armaments. It also, I kind of like that it only has 1 grav hook, which holds up the 3 vessels, so it's not wasting a lot of space, wasting space where it could have armaments for just gravity hooks, which makes it very neat. All in all, I think their battleship was just far superior than the one given to us in the Armada Handbook. And then they also had Tau transports. The Tau transports were designed with 1 hit point, speed 20 centimeters, turns 90 degrees, 1 shield, armor 5, 1 turret, and was armed with a POW railgun weapon battery of 30 centimeters, firepower 2, front, left, right arc. And these were also fitted out with the POW deflector fields, giving them a front armor of 6 as long as they don't suffer a POW critical damage roll. In terms of use of them, they're the transports. They're used for defensive missions and such, so they really don't have any special point costs. It's all discerned in the mission descriptions of the Battlefleet Gothic rulebook. And that was all the ships that we got. We did get 1 more section for the force, plus a new fleet list. I just want to go that in another episode because I don't think I'll have enough time to continue it all. So, until next time, this is Helios Raven, signing off.